But Santana at the plate. Hit a single back in the first, a double in the second. Trying to continue his 100% batting average on the day. As the pitch comes in, Santana likes what he sees, grounds it out to first. That'll be collected by Caruthers for an easy 3 outs here in the bottom of the fourth. We will take a short break as we head into the top of the fifth. You're watching Conejo Oaks Baseball on KDTV. We just got a note from our statistician that I was actually 2 outs and not 3 outs. Apologies. So up to the plate, Zane Willems, the catcher from Texas Tech. Got hit by a pitch, and actually both the first and the second inning as the 1-1 pitch comes in, and that will be ball. 2-1. Williams, 21 years old, 6th best catcher in the state of Texas back in high school. As he crushes that one to the right, trying to make a play on it on the foul territory is Caruthers, but that'll go out.
Yeah, tough play there. If you're at first base and you see that ball, you really want to get it. But lucky for the Oaks, there's that fence there to stop him.
Count 1-2. Jelinek gave up 1 hit and 1 run back in the third inning. 2 outs trying to close this inning out as the curve drops in, trying to make a play on it and throw it to first. And he can't come up with it, and Willems will come to first.
I wonder if they're going to give him an error. That was an interesting play because Willems could have beaten that out, I believe. We'll see what the official score is in just a second. And it looks like they gave the Oaks a hit. They did.
Jelinek tried to make a play on it, couldn't corral the ball. Toss came low and late to Caruthers, who couldn't make a play and couldn't catch it. And that's going to put Willems back on first with Brandon Lewis at the plate. Hit a double back in the first as the first one pitch comes in, and that's fouled back for strike 1. As I mentioned, Lewis hit a double back in the first inning, struck out in the second. Didn't get a chance to hit in the third, but now he's back at the fourth. The Pierce College athlete, as the 1-1 pitch goes low and in the dirt for ball 2. So Willems at first. Lewis at the plate. 7-4 here in the bottom of the fourth. 2 outs. As the pitch comes in and once again fouled off into territory near Jonathan's car, it looks like.
Let's hope not. I'm trying to
foul territory.
I told you I'd be more impressed than sad if one hit one, but I think that was a spur of the moment type thing. I think that if actually my car,
you might have been a little more upset.
If my car actually, I think I would blame you, Jonah. Actually,
if that actually played into fruition, you might have been a little more upset with that.
Maybe a little bit.
As the pitch comes in low into the dirt, and that's 2-2. So Brandon Lewis, 2 for 4 on the day, yesterday, 2 for 4, hit a double and an RBI. Had an efficient game. Here as the fifth pitch comes in, that one's fouled off and back for 2-2.
Yeah, 2's across the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away, and that runner on first. If you're Jelinek on the pitch, you can't be too upset with yourself because normally he's an outfielder, he's a pitcher, and he's holding this Oaks offense at bay for the most part.
He's played pretty well as the pitch comes in and fouled back once again by Lewis as the count stays even at 2-2. New ball's brought to the umpire. Lewis trying to send Willems to at least second, perhaps more if you get greedy. As the pitch comes in, and that's wide for ball 3. Crowd for the Cubs, not a fan of that call. But nonetheless, that sets up a full count situation.
Everybody's an umpire at a baseball game, Jonah, except that there's only one umpire that matters.
As the pitch comes in, that's swung but tapped off and fouled as the count will stay at 3-2.
87 miles an hour on the gun. That's the fastest pitch we have seen Jelinek throw all day.
And as you mentioned, Jonathan, he's actually been a nice spark for the Cubs. Pitched extremely well. As we mentioned, only gave up 1 hit and 1 run as opposed to the 7 given up by Kurz. As the pitch comes in and swung, and he gonna strike him out, and that will do it for the bottom of the 4th. As the Oaks lead 7-4 heading into the top of the 5th. You're watching Oaks Baseball here on KDTV. Welcome back into George Sparky Anderson Field as the Oaks lead the Cubs 7-4. Here in the top of the 5th, a couple personnel changes. At the mound will be Joe Torres, making his debut for the Oaks here in 2017. The La Crescenta, California native, plays for the Oaks, has played for the Oaks the past 2 seasons, back in 16 and 15, and on the ground playing catcher, making his first start of the afternoon, will be Jacob Castro. As Torres steps off the mound, develops himself, gets a nice little stretch and squat. Probably didn't get enough time to stretch before the game, so he's taking an opportunity here. At the plate, Izzy Reyes for the Cubs. Got walked back in the 1st, hit an RBI. No, excuse me. Went to 1st back in the 3rd.
Yeah, he's 2 for 2 on the day with 2 singles and 2 RBIs.
As the count 1-1. Torres sets himself. Fires one in. That one's grounded to short, making the play on it, and that will be out number 1. Mayu on the 1-hopper tosses it over to Santana, who's able to corral it for an easy out number 1. And coming up to the plate, Travis Hawkins.
Yeah, and Joe Torres, it's actually very funny. Last year with the Oaks, he was competing for the best ERA on the team through midway part of the season with Isaiah Campbell from Arkansas, who's the ace on this team. They had a little competition going. Who could break that 2.0 ERA, and Campbell ended up coming on top at the end. But Joe Torres is not a bad pitcher at all.
As the 0-0 pitch comes in, and that's upstairs for strike 1. And at the plate, as we mentioned, Travis Hawkins hit that double back in the 2nd, as well as a single in the 3rd. As the 0-1 pitch comes in, and that make that 0-2. Now Joe Torres plays for Glendale Community College. 2-run record, played 15 games, had an impressive 22 strikeouts this past season, as well as a save. As the 0-2 pitch comes in and taking a crack at it is Hawkins, but he hits it over to Torres, who lightly tosses it over to Santana for out number 2.
Torres giving everybody a little scare there as the fans laugh in relief. He was kind of running with Hawkins, waiting and waiting and waiting, and finally at the last second he was able to toss it over to first for that.
He's always wanted to be a 50-yard sprinter.
He is
trying to showcase that opportunity here.
He definitely takes enough steps with those little legs of his.
As we're in the top of the 5th, Oaks have only given up 4 runs and 4 hits on the afternoon, no errors. Excuse me, 3 errors. And that one's going to be fouled off for 0-1. Change of ball. Umpire gives to Torres. Now Torres, as we mentioned, Glendale Community College, but has played for the Conejo Oaks and under Coach Solis the past 2 seasons.
Yeah, very familiar with both these Oaks personnel, Joe Torres and Coach Solis.
As the 0-1 pitch comes in, and that one's fouled back by Hawkins for 0-2. Or excuse me, Connor O'Connor.
Yeah, making his season debut.
His season debut, so that's not Hawkins.
No, coming in for Jordan Castro, actually, who is 0 for 2 on a day with 2 strikeouts.
Torres takes the signal from Castro, sets the big left late, and that one's fired up and away for 1-1. As we mentioned, 3 errors on the afternoon for the Oaks. As a pitch comes in, and that one's in the ground for 1-1. And Johnny, what do you like about this decision of the Oaks to infield spreading back on this one?
Yeah, I'll give you a view of that. You can see Santana and Pickett's out there at first and second, playing with their infield on the, or their feet on that very inner part of the outfield, and that's a good decision against the lefty.
As the pitch comes in, Torres hits that foul into the right side.
And the reason is, Jonah, for that is because if you're playing in, you have less time to corral a ball in the gap, and lefties like to hit in the gap. So Solis doesn't want to play a shift where he would bring the third base over into that gap between first and second. And so in compensation, the right side of the infield will play on the right side.
Torres trying to close out this inning with the 2-2 pitch, and that one's hit to the left, and that will be fair by O'Connor. He's going to come around first, making his way to second. And that's a double by Connor O'Connor.
Probably the best name in baseball that we've seen so far.
Setting up the Cubs to potentially make this a 1-score game with Levy Fain, the designated hitter. Or excuse me, Chandler Hughes, the designated hitter, coming in to try and make this a 1-score game. That's Torres' first hit given up on the afternoon. Checks off Torres. Torres checks off Hughes and delivers the 0-1 strike. Pitch comes in, grounded, popped up to Torres, making the play to Santana, and that will do it for out number 3. So the Oaks maintain some breathing room as they stay ahead 7-4, heading into the bottom of the 5th. You're watching Oaks baseball here on Sparky Anderson Field on KDTV. We'll take a short break. Welcome back into Sparky Anderson Field as the Oaks lead 7-4 heading into the bottom of the fourth against the Coastal Cubs. Bottom of the fifth against the Coastal Cubs. As Juarez Gonzalez at the plate. Hit a single back in the first. Fly out to left in the third. As the pitch comes in, a nice breaking ball by Jelinek.
Yeah, Jelinek got Gonzalez swinging out of his shoes, as we like to say, way off balance, and a nice breaking pitch.
As the 0-2 pitch comes in, and that one's high for ball one. Lovely afternoon here in Sparky Anderson Field. Temperatures mid-70s. Nice cool breeze up in our booth as the 1-2 pitch comes wide. 2-2. 7-4 is the score. 5 hits given up by the Oaks. And 3 errors. Here comes the pitch. That one's hit deep into left. Pop-up will be Smith. Making the play on it will actually be McKinley for out number 1. Nice play by McKinley. Called Smith off and made the aggressive move towards the left and made the incredible catch for out number 1. And back at the plate, Will Pickett. Pierce College got caught stealing a base after a single back in the first as the curveball finds its way in the strike zone for 0-1. Hit by a pitch in the third. With Jelinek still on the mound. As he delivers the 0-1 pitch, and that one's wide for ball 1. Getting set. Fires one in. It drops for 1-2. 7-4 the score here in the bottom of the fifth. Oaks trying to extend this lead and pull away from the Cubs here in this inning. And that one's hit. Popped up into right. That will drop for a base hit and put the Oaks on first. That was Willem Pickett with the base hit. The shallow right field. And Jason Oliver will come on the plate next.
Yeah, nice job there from Will Pickett. Doing a good job as Shaken steps in to take that opposite field.
Jason Oliver back at the plate. Takes a ball 1. Had an RBI. Sam Shaken taking ball 1. Got walked back in the third. 1-0 pitch comes in for strike 1. Nice pitch by Jelinek. Found the strike zone. Able to slide that one on the outside corner. 1-1 pitch comes in. Grounded to third. Making a play to first, and that will be out number 2. But Pickett steals and comes to second.
Yeah, nice put out there from Hawkins over there at third. Doing a really good job sticking with that and not trying to force that out at second. A lot of times third basemen will do that if they see that there's an opportunity for a double play. They'll throw it to second and not in time, so good heads-up play there.
And now Jason Oliver will be back at the plate and hits that one right down the middle. Tossed over to first. Now will be out number 3. Couldn't get there in time, so the Oaks maintain their 3-score lead here in the bottom of the fifth. They lead 7-4, giving up 5 hits and 3 errors as we get set for the top of the 6th between the Oaks and the Coastal Cubs here on KDTV. Welcome back into the top of the sixth here in Sparky Anderson Field as the Oaks maintain their 7-4 lead with Cruisers at the plate. Inside from Torres is ball one. Cruisers had a fly out to right, to center, back in the first. Hit the single back in the fourth. As Torres' second pitch is low for ball two. Torres, nonetheless, has had a pretty successful afternoon. Just giving up one hit. So he sets and delivers the 2-0 pitch for strike one as Caruthers takes a big swinging miss on that one. Two and one. Pitch comes in, grounded out, and that'll be foul ball for 2-2. As we mentioned, doesn't really get much better than this in terms of weather, and crowd still has a good showing here. I'm sure the players appreciate that just as much as we do. As this is still a tight ball game as the 2-2 pitch comes in, and that's high for full count, 3-2. No outs. Full count here in the top of the sixth. Cruthers trying to hit a leadoff base hit, and just like that, makes a hit in the right for a leadoff hit by Caruthers. Kenton Caruthers, the Chico State first baseman, putting in another single. That's his second of the afternoon.
How about shortstop number 33, Shane Hirsch?
Yeah, 2 consecutive innings. Check that. Actually, 2 consecutive at-bats where Caruthers has gotten on base, a double back in the fourth, ended up scoring that run, and a single here to lead off.
Doesn't get much harder than this as Shane Hirsch back at the plate has gone walked in 2 consecutive at-bats back in the third and the fourth. Grounded out at first. So Caruthers on first, Hirsch at the plate, 1-0. 7-4 is the score, and that's 2-0 now.
Yeah, wind picking up now towards right, and talking to our statistician downstairs, Keith Schneider, about those 2 hits back in the first inning between Brendan Lewis and Max Weinstein, where they hit that out over to left field just short of the wall. That could have actually been gone, but because of the wind, it wasn't.
Checks off. Torres checks off. Caruthers at first. Makes the throw over. Hirsch playing for Santa Barbara City College. Inside. Can't get the strike zone, and that's ball 3.
Yeah, now an important situation for Torres. This is where he struggled. He'll get into his own head, and he did this a lot last year too, where he would get behind in counts, and he would become timid on the mound. So we'll see here what he decides to do.
Here comes the 3-0 pitch by Torres, and that is inside and low for ball number 4, and that will put Hirsch on first, Caruthers at second, and Trifoletti coming up to the plate with potentially the tying run here in the top of the sixth. Hit a single back in the third, as well as the first. Got walked in the fourth, so 2 for 2 on the day. And in a prime location, an opportunity to tie this game up as the pitch comes in, and that's inside and catches the inside of the strike zone for strike 1.
Yeah, nice pitch there from Torres after getting that pitch low and inside to walk the last batter, able to find the strike zone there against Trifoletti.
Torres checks off. Caruthers at second, catches the outside corner for strike number 2. Nice pitch by Torres. Wasn't sure if he was going to get that call, but it manages to get the outside corner.
Yeah, nice slider, one of his signature pitches, and he threw a lot of that to side armory last year That's really what he improved on over there at Glendale Community College as well.
Still no outs on the inning. 7-4 here in the top of the sixth. Here's the 0-2 and the nice curve, but Dan can't get the strike zone, and that will be his first ball for this at-bat. But a nice attempt by Torres. Nearly caught the top of the strike zone with that curve, just didn't drop all the way down. Trifoletti eyeing the pitch as the 1-2 comes in. And a nice curving slider by Torres, and that will do it for Trifoletti here in the top of the sixth.
Yeah, strike 3 on a beautiful slider right on the outside part of the plate. Trifoletti way out in front of it, and Torres with a beautiful strikeout.
At the plate, Alex Smith coming into the game after an unfortunate injury. That's grounded. Torres tossed over to first, and that'll be easy out number 2 to Santana. But as we were mentioning before that play, Alex Smith came in for the injured Brandon Lowe, trying to make a play on a ball back in the left field earlier in this game. Came up hobble and was forced to exit this game. Wish him nothing but the best. Hope he gets better soon, as Daniel McKinney at the plate. Got to second due to an error from short earlier in the day. Grounded out in the third and popped one out to second. Big swing and cutting, breaking ball by Torres, a strike 1. Torres on the mound. Slider, can't catch the outside corner, and that's 1-1. Score 7-4. Still on the top of the sixth, as the Oaks have given up 6 hits and 3 errors on the day, with 2 outs. McKinney takes a big swing near the Oaks dugout, and the count stays at 1-2.
Yeah, 1-2 here, 2 away, 2 on for Torres, and an opportunity here for him to get out of this jam, because the last thing he wants to do is let this deficit become minimal for the Cubs.
Torrey fires in the curve, gets the pop-up, but that will be fouled off, and stays at 1-2. 2 away here in the top of the sixth. Score still 7-4.
It's been a long game. 2 hours and 12 minutes in. We're only in the top of the 6th inning.
Fortunately, the sun has moved past our booth, more directly shining on the field as opposed to right in our eyes.
And as fortunate as that is for us, I think it's more fortunate for the fans in the home stands, because that sun was beating down right on them as the game started back at 11:58 a.m.
McKinney still at the plate, and the 1-2 comes in, takes the swing, and fouls similarly off to the left side near the Oaks dugout. As we mentioned, Daniel McKinney, the center fielder, plays for Santa Barbara City College. One and two. 2 outs. Torres on the mound. Fires one in. Big swing and gets him on the swing. And that will do it for the top of the 6th inning as the Oaks stay ahead 7-4. Heading into the bottom of the 6th. You're watching Oaks Baseball on KDTV. 7-4 is the score
Number 19, Max.
here in Sparky Anderson Field as the Oaks in a much closer contest against the Coastal Cubs here in the bottom of the fourth with Max Weinstein up at the plate. Hit a double back in the first, popped one out to left in the second, and grounded out back in the third. But here we go as the first pitch comes underway in the bottom of the sixth for ball one. Bo Jelinek still at the plate, at the mound. He's had a pretty fine afternoon as the 0-1 comes in, a nice changeup for strike number one.
Attention, please. Pitching for the Cubs. 41, Eduardo Miranda.
Pitching change.
It's Eduardo
I
Miranda.
believe Eduardo Miranda.
Yep. So Jelinicki's day is done. He ended up pitching 2 2/3 innings, giving up a hit, no runs, no walks, a strikeout.
As the 2-1 curve catches the back corner for strike two. 7-4, 6, 10 hits given up by the Cubs as the 2-2 pitch comes in. Swinged hard by Weinstein and fouled back in the parking lot for 2-2. Now, Max Weinstein's an interesting story. He's also a pitcher himself.
Yeah, but as of late, as you see that pitch hit at the dirt, he hasn't pitched anymore. He was recruited out of high school by UC Irvine to pitch, and he didn't pitch at all. He redshirted freshman season at UC Irvine, and then transferred to Cal Lutheran, where he took up a role as mainly a hitter.
As the full count pitch comes in, hit to short, and not able to make the play is Hirsch, and that will send Weinstein at first.
Another error. Actually, well, I guess this is the first error today at short for the Cubs, but yesterday they made 3 errors out there at short.
Now batting shortstop number 9, Grant.
And that's been a common theme that we saw, at least out of the Cubs yesterday, but not so much today. They've cleaned up their act. Haven't had nearly as many errors, only 1 as opposed to 4 yesterday. As Mayu back up to hit. First pitch is upstairs for ball one.
Yeah, you talk about cleaning up their game. They've definitely been fielding it a lot better as Jake Sylvester warms up in the Oaks bullpen.
Miranda throws the high pitch, and that's 2-0. Eduardo Miranda hasn't seen much time. We didn't see him yesterday. Making his first appearance today as the 3-0 pitch comes in. Or the 2-0 pitch. That'll be ball 3.
Yeah, and just a lot of pitchers Roderick Hutchinson, the head coach for the Cubs, is toying around with before they have to get into their Premier League play in a couple of days.
And now B walk and send Mayu over to first. Weinstein at second with Cody Santana up at the plate. Hit a single back in the first, double in the second, and grounded one out to first in the fourth, but 2 for 3, still impressive on the day.
Oh, yeah, and Santana, one of the more highly touted players here for the Oaks out of Hawaii Pacific, All-American. Also had a straight A's, his dad told me yesterday. So 4.0 student along with one of the best Division II baseball players in the country.
Miranda steps off the mound, gets back on, sets his toes, makes sure his feet, shoulders squared away, checks off Weinstein at second. As the 0-0 pitch comes in for ball one. And Reyes wants to have a talk with him.
Yeah, that pitch at 69 miles an hour, the slowest pitch that we have seen all day on either side. Last year, the slowest pitch that we saw was by Koto Hasegawa for the Oaks. He was a pitcher for a couple of days. He pitched a 58-mile-an-hour eephus pitch, which is basically just a lob to the plate. It was pretty incredible, but I think that Miranda might take the cake here for the slowest pitch at Cal Lutheran come the end of the season.
Here comes the pitch, and that one's hit by Santana deep to right. Trying to make a play on it is Trifoletti. He can't do it, and that's going to send the bases loaded with Weinstein at third, Mayu at second, and Santana at first.
And it looks like they're going to give him a hit, and they will. 3 for 4 on the day is Mr. Santana with 2 singles and a double. And you got to bet if the Oaks hold on to this one, he will be the player of the game.
Well, it certainly looks like a 3 for 4 on the day after that was considered a hit. And there's a batting change as well for the Oaks.
Yeah, Jacob Castro took over for Zane Williams in the field coming up to the plate now. And actually, Zane Williams had a great day, hit by 2 pitches. I guess that's not great, but ended up also with a single, so 1 for 1 for him.
Castro saw some time yesterday as well as he takes a big swing on the cutting slider, the cutting breaking ball by Miranda for 1-1. Bases loaded here in the bottom of the fourth. 7-4 is the score as the curve comes inside and up for 2-1.
Well, I think that I was wrong, Joan. I guess that 67-mile-an-hour changeup was the second slowest because that curveball is at 64 miles an hour.
2-1 pitch comes in. Castro pops one up. Hawkins making the call for it, and he's going to get that out for out number 1. But nonetheless, the bases still loaded with an opportunity for Brandon Lewis to extend this lead to potentially 7 here in the bottom of the 6th and trying to blow this game wide open.
Yeah, and if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Brandon Lewis. 419, 22 home runs, at Pierce College. An opportunity now to break this game wide open. It's pretty unlikely that he hits a grand slam, but you never know.
Don't count him out as the first pitch comes in for 1-0.
I never count anybody out, Jonah. I have. It's happened before where I said that and then they hit a grand slam. So maybe I'm just jinxing the opposite way.
As the second pitch comes in, and that's fouled off for 1-1. Now, Lewis has actually had a fantastic tenure so far with Pierce College this past season. Played 39 games, started 37, 39 RBIs, and just 17 strikeouts and 148 at-bats. Impressive stat line as they bounce it. The grounder, Miranda threw it in the dirt. Weinstein late to react on it and doesn't come home.
That was a good decision at third for the Oaks. When a pitch is a wild like that and your base is loaded and you only have one away and you're up, the last thing you need to do is waste an out and be overly aggressive.
Lewis, as we mentioned, .419 batting average, .494 on-base percentage. One of the tops in his conference as he pops one up into the left side. Looking back on it is Hirsch, and he's going to make the play on it for the second out of the inning.
And I don't know if you saw it on the camera, but the bat was broken, and it went straight at the head of Travis Hawkins at third, and he ducked out of the way. Everybody was yelling and screaming with oohs and ahs. It was a pretty impressive dive, and thank goodness that he did it because the barrel of that bat was flying towards him.
Heads up play by Hirsch, not to mention able to hold up Weinstein at third. So overall, just an impressive heads-up play by the Cubs infielder. Back at the plate is Juan Gonzalez. Struck out back in the second. Popped one into left back in the third. As the 1-0 pitch comes in for 2-0. Miranda has struggled slightly on the day. As we mentioned, already given up 3 base hits. Gets a strike there for 2-1.
Well, he's given up 3 base runners. He's only given up 1 base hit.
1 base hit, but
I think he's
3 base runners.
I would argue that he's actually done pretty well.
Relative to all the Cubs pitchers today, for the most part, you're talking about Jelinek and now Miranda.
I think
Both pitched pretty well.
Well, the reason that he's doing a good job, I think, is because he's only given up one hit, and after that one hit, he settled in and gotten 2 consecutive players to pop out.
Here comes the 2-2 pitch curved outside, and that's ball 3. So full count, bases loaded with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. Oaks trying to push this lead and blow this game out of the waters. As Gonzalez at the plate takes a big swing and struck out by Miranda, and a clutch strikeout by Miranda keeps the score at 3 at 7-4. As we head into the top of the 7th, you are watching the Oaks baseball taking on the Cubs in a tight one here in Sparky Anderson Field. As we're taking a short break, you're watching Oaks baseball on K. Welcome back into Sparky Anderson Field as we get set for the top of the 7th in a tight one between the Oaks and the Cubs. But my colleague Jonathan Rifkin will take over for play-by-play for the final 3 innings of this one.
Thank you, Jonah, as we have a new pitcher on the mound for the Oaks. It's Jake Sylvester. His 2nd year with the Oaks, hailing from Kansas City. Loving that barbecue. I'll get into that story in just a couple of minutes, but his stats on the season for Cal State Northridge, in an inning 8 2/3 innings pitched, he had a 6.23 ERA, 8 walks and 3 strikeouts. Told me he was transferring, but he doesn't know where yet. Last year with the Oaks, 13 innings pitched, 4.15 ERA with 10 walks and 11 strikeouts. Before CSUN, he played at Iowa Western Community College, I should say. More on that in just a second as Izzy Reyes steps in. 2 for 3 on the day. The first pitch from Sylvester's fired in, but it's inside for a ball, 1-0. Sylvester, like I said, Iowa Western Community College, where he won a national championship as a freshman. As he peers and fires the 1-0, it's chopped to the left side, but foul.
Sylvester, just tremendous size and power, 6'7". Not to mention that is an incredible clean delivery. And once he gets going with his leg lift, he can throw really powerful ones into the strike zone.
Takes a step to the side and fires the 1-1. It's popped foul back once again, and he's ahead in the count, 1-2. Izzy Reyes on the plate. 7-4 our score, and for Sylvester. I asked him why he decided to go to CSUN from Iowa Western Community College, and he's from Kansas City. He said, I had to get out of the Midwest. He loves it there, but not to live. The 1-2, and he drills Reyes in the back. And that's a hit by a pitch, the first hit by a pitch we've seen on the Oaks side. On the Cubs side, there have been 2 hit by pitches. By the way, for Joe Torres, the previous pitcher for the Oaks, his day is done. 2 innings pitched. Gave up a hit, walked 1, and struck out 2. So a pretty good inaugural 2017 outing for the Glendale Community College product. Runner on first. Travis Hawkins will step up to the plate. He's 2 for 3 on the day with an RBI double. Sylvester checks the runner at first. Nobody away. 1 on. The first pitch into Hawkins is outside for a ball. Castro thought about throwing it to first, but instead throws it back to his pitcher on the mound.
And one of the benefits of that high leg lift is it enables Sylvester to generate a lot more power on his release.
Great point as he checks the runner at first, but sliding safely, is Izzy Reyes. And that'll keep the count at 1-0. And Sylvester has a very interesting story. like I said, he wanted to get out of the Midwest, so he came to CSUN, where he is going to transfer. Again, TBA where, but we'll let you know when he lets me know. As the 1-0 is hit to the right side, Santana gets it, throws it over to Mayu at short. The throw to first to Sylvester, and he's got him. A beautiful 3-6-1 double play by the Oaks. Not something you see very often. A grounder to Santana. He gets it over to Mayu at short, who gets it down to Sylvester at first, and just like that, there are two away. Going back to what I was saying, though, is Connor O'Connor will step in, 1-for-1 on the day with a double. He went to CSUN because he wanted to get out of the Midwest, but the one thing that he did miss in Kansas City was the barbecue, as the first pitch into O'Connor is a little bit low and outside for a ball. He really missed the barbecue from Kansas City. And don't get me wrong, barbecue everywhere is really good, but Kansas City barbecue, second best, third best in the nation. As the 1-0 is hit to the right side, under it is Sam Shakin, and he'll make the catch for a quick out number 2. We're going to keep it here because I do want to tell this story. And actually, we're going to, for out number 3, excuse me, there was a 1 out, 2 outs before. But we're gonna keep it here because I think that this is a very interesting story. We're gonna bring you up into our broadcasting booth because it's kind of fun. Why not? Oaks are up. So we're gonna just say a quick hello to you all. Hey guys, everybody. This is Jonathan. Here we just conclude the top of the 7th, and I was telling this story about Jake Sylvester and how he loves barbecue food so much. Actually, he just likes the barbecue sauce, and he had to get out of the Midwest. But last year with the Oaks, he comes to a game with Kansas City barbecue sauce. I'm like, Jake, where did you get that? You can't get that around here. Oh, yeah, I have my mom ship it to me every week. He goes through a bottle of barbecue sauce every single week.
Well, you know, all of us like our home cooking, Johnny. I mean, when you're away from your bed, I know when I'm at school, I'd love for my parents to send me some of their, homemade, honestly, anything, really, given the food that sometimes we're eating in these places. I mean, the barbecue sauce, I love that story, John. I mean, you told it to me yesterday, and I thought that was incredible for a guy like him to be playing in California and ask his parents to ship him barbecue sauce. I think that's an incredible story. I'm so happy you brought it up.
It's his guilty pleasure. It looks like mine is green olives or Jolly Ranchers, if you will. And it's just all fun, and it's hilarious. But we're going to send it back down to the field now as we're through the middle inning. I hope you enjoyed that story. It's definitely one of my favorites. As we are now in the bottom of the 7th, Oaks up 7-4. We appreciate the little FaceTime here in our little space above the press box. We hope you get to put a little face to our names as well above the Oaks broadcasting crew. Bottom 8, 9, and 1 hitters due up for the Oaks as Will Pickett steps in and takes the first pitch up and away for a ball on the day for Pickett's 2 for 2. RBI double, a stolen base, a single, and was hit by a pitch back in the third that ended up with a score as the 1-0 is fired in and he rips it to the left side but foul as Miranda is still on the mound for the Cubs in his second inning of work.
And Pickett's has had an incredible rebound from yesterday. Went 0 of 3 yesterday, but 2-2 along with a hit by the pitch.
As the 1-1 comes in, it's a curveball and just runs a little bit inside on Will Pickett's. 2-1 the count. 7 runs, 11 hits, 3 errors for the Oaks. 4 runs, 5 hits, and an error for the Cubs. The 2-1 dealt in by Miranda. Pickett's thought about going, pulls back as it's up and in for ball number 3. Now Miranda's really in a hole here. Quickly dealing now is Miranda 3-1. Runs upstairs and he'll walk Pickett's, the leadoff batter here for the Oaks. Second walk on the day for Miranda. He's only given up a hit and a strikeout as well. The Oaks left bases loaded back in the bottom of the 6th. But they're still maintaining that 7-4 lead nonetheless. And we'll go to the bottom of the order for Valparaiso product. Sam Shakin, batted over 300 in the Horizon League. One of the best hitters. As the runner goes, that pitch is high. Sliding in is Pickett's, and he's safe. Second stolen base on the day for Will Pickett's, and the Oaks have a runner in scoring position with nobody away.
Heads-up play by Pickett. Since that Miranda couldn't see him in the back corner, that's one of the benefits of those batters on first when you have a righty pitcher. They can't see over their shoulder. Took advantage of it and stole second.
Miranda deals quickly at 2, shaking. He hits a 2-hopper over to third. Hawkins gets it, fires it over to first in time for out number 1. Easy play there for Hawkins at third. Pickett stays at second. And we'll have one away now for the top of the order and Jason Oliver.
Now batting center fielder number 21, Jason Oliver.
Oliver on the day, 2 for 4 with a single, a double, a run scored, an RBI, and 2 ground outs. This will be the second and final game of Oaks opening weekend. They'll have 2 days off before playing the Slow Boots here on Tuesday. The first pitch to Oliver glides outside for ball number 1. That went at 61 miles an hour, Jonah.
And we thought that the slowest pitches came before at 67 and 69. Well, he keeps proving us wrong.
He is. I don't like being wrong. The 1-1 runs up high and inside to Oliver, 2-0.
That's true. That's a good point, Johnny. Those that know him would probably agree at times with that sentiment, but nonetheless.
I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing. Check the runner at second as Miranda and deals the 2-0, and that one runs outside, 3 balls, no strikes.
Just a very specific broadcaster, likes things to be precise. I appreciate that characteristic of you.
The 3-0, once again up high, and that's another walk. Oliver takes first base on a free base on balls. The third walk given up by Miranda. Second walk in the inning, and that's going to bring up the powerful bat of Max Weinstein. Struggling on the day, 1 for 4, reached on an error, had an RBI, or excuse me, a double and a run scored in the first. Hit into double play and flown out in his 4 trips. Sporting that purple Cal Lutheran helmet, swings that bat over his right shoulder. The first pitch is dealt, and he takes it to the third base side. Hawkins gets it, mishandles it, and bases will be loaded. What an interesting play. Hawkins had it, lost it. Hirsch, the shortstop, came behind him to back him up and also lost it. So for the second time in the last 2 at-bats, Max Weinstein is on because of an error.
Well, that's what great offensive players are able to do. They're able to make you think and question what could be some easy ground outs, but instead, and look, that's one of the benefits of having an elite offensive scorer like Weinstein, is he puts so much pressure on the defense to execute at the highest level that sometimes they've come up short.
Grant Mayu steps in now and takes the first pitch high and away for a ball. 1 for 3 on the day. Double and a run scored, an RBI, and a flyout. He was also walked back in the 6th inning. Bases are loaded, 1 away, 1-0 count as Miranda Pearson fires that 1-0 pitch. Big swing and a miss by Mayu. He wanted that home run ball. And now the count is even at 1-1.
Same situation that the Oaks were in back in the bottom of the 5th. Bases loaded, only minimal outs, trying to extend this game the lead.
The 1-1, a curveball way outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. That one at 60 miles an hour. So perhaps Koto Hasegawa, who threw a 58-mile-an-hour eephus last year, his slowest pitch record at Cal Lutheran is in jeopardy. As the 2-1 comes in, it's way up high, and it's foul tipped into the glove of Reyes for strike number 2.
A nice changeup by my Miranda. Mayu was expecting perhaps just as slow-paced of a pitch as he got the pitch before. And Miranda wanted to put maybe an extra 20 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour on that one.
The 2-2 coming in, runs up high. Good catch there by Izzy Reyes behind the plate to keep the runners at bay. Full count now with Cody Santana waiting on deck. Taking his practice hacks. Always with that smile. As the full count pitch pending from Miranda. And he fires. And that one's hit to the left side. A 1-hopper to the glove of Hirsch. He dives, throws it over to second to O'Connor, who bobbles it but is able to corral it, and get the out. For out number 2, runners scoring on the play is Will Pickett. And the Oaks extended the lead to 4. 8-4 now. Grant Mayu is on with a RBI fielder's choice. Chalked up as a 6-4. Jason Oliver advanced to third. So runners at the corners now with 2 away here. 8-4 our score in the bottom of the 7th. Now Weinstein, him getting off base, takes away that unearned run. First pitch to Santana, runs outside, 1 ball, no strikes.
Santana once again, an impressive afternoon. 3 for 4 on the day.
Seriously, 2 RBIs, a run scored. As Miranda appears and fires the 1-0. High and outside, 2 balls and no strikes.
Leads the team in batting average in these first 2 games at about 70%.
Yeah, he's been doing a very good job.
I would expect that to continue on.
I would. The 2-0. That one up also. He wanted that one just a little bit lower because that's a home run ball for him.
Any pitch you throw in the strike zone could potentially be a home run for Santana.
True. You see him in batting practice. And tomorrow, stay tuned, for on Tuesday. Head over to Twitter on Tuesday at about 2 o'clock when Oaks take batting practice. We're going to live stream that on our Twitter as the 3-0 comes into Santana. Runs in high and bases are loaded once again. The third walk given up by Miranda in the inning. 4th on the game. And the Cubs look like they're out of pitchers. Nobody has been warming up in the inning for the Cubs. It's almost like they've thrown in the white flag.
Hopefully for their sake they don't. I still think Coach Hutchinson can find someone who'd be willing to step to the mound.
Jonah, maybe they'll have to put you out there.
I have had my success back in my U12 days at pitching a couple pitches.
Jimmy Castro steps in, takes the first pitch outside for a ball.
Probably wouldn't be so successful today. Yeah, it's all about the sun and the glare. That'd probably be what
that's definitely
would impede my ability to
Sure,
pitch strikes.
Sure. The 1-0 runs inside to Castro, but he was crowding the plate, and it's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. I don't know if it's the sun and the glare necessarily as your, I don't want to say your unathletic ability because you are more athletic than most of the people I know, Jonah, but maybe your baseball talent is just a little bit lower than some of these guys.
It's certainly possible.
The 1-1 is a curveball.
I used to be good at pickle, actually, back in the day. I loved those situations.
You like to get into pickles?
I liked getting into pickle. You don't force yourself into it, but when you have to get yourself out, I was able to do that.
All right, fair enough. The 1-2 fighting Miranda. Another breaking pitch, and Santana pulls it hard. And that one was very close to hitting my car. We're getting closer and closer. Excuse me, that was not Santana. That was Castro, my mistake, because Santana is on first. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 away. First base is Cody Santana. Second base.
Well, you wanted that to come into fruition, so
I think you have to come into fruition. The 1-2 once again pulled up into right field. Trifoletti running onto it in foul territory. And it's going to drop in between 3 different players, Trifoletti, O'Connor, and Caruthers. And the count remained at 1-2 for Castro, 0 for 1 on the day with a pop-out in the 6th. First base is Cody Santana. Second base is Grant Mayu. And third base is Jason Oliver. 2 away, 8-4 our score. 11 hits, 3 errors for the Oaks. 6 hits, 2 errors for the Cubs. Here in the bottom of the 7th, and what has been a very long game. What was it, the 3-hour mark? The 1-2 from Miranda. And that one just misses the right shoulder of Castro. And a little bit too far inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That one might have also cracked the 50s potentially on that.
That was 62, actually.
62.
Close. 61's the slowest. The 2-2 popped way high into foul territory towards the Cubs side. And that one is just going to squeak over the fence and out of play. Count will remain at 2-2.
That's about the second time that Caruthers was trying to make an extension grab on the foul territory. Potentially be a dangerous situation, but good heads up, recognized he couldn't get there, and let it just go foul.
Miranda checking bases loaded, takes the sign from Reyes behind the plate. A couple practice swings by Castro, and the 2-2 is fired in. It's a curveball pulled once again out of play towards the right side. 4 consecutive curveballs. All of them have been pulled just a little bit too early for Castro, and you know he's waiting for that one sweet spot to bang it out of here. But we're going to do it again. 8th pitch of that bat pending. The lefty steps back in the 2-2, a curveball. That one skins the outside corner for strike 3.
Well, it was about time before one of those curveballs finally made its way in the strike zone.
And it was a beautiful pitch. The second strikeout on the day for for Miranda on the pitch. Castro is sent down looking, and we are out of the 7th inning. 1 run on no hits, 1 error, and 3 left on base. We're through 7 here at Sparky Anderson Field. When we come back to 8th inning, Oaks up 8-4. You are Back here at Sparky Anderson Field, new pitcher on the mound for the Oaks as they're up 8-4. Kenny Johnson from Cal State Bakersfield. He pitched in 22 games, which is the 7th most in a season by a pitcher for the Roadrunners. As a freshman, he started twice, posted an 0-2 record with a 6.21 ERA. Struck out 26 batters in 37 2/3 inning and tallied 1 save as well. 9-1-2 hitters due up for the Cubs as Hughes steps in. The first pitch to him runs inside at 90 miles an hour. On the day for Hughes, 0-2. Came in the 4th inning in place of Levy Fain. The number 9 spot has not been kind for the Cubs as the 1-0 is fired by Johnson, and it's caught and missed for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. So far, the number 9 spot for the Cubs in this series, they've been up 6 times, and they're 1 for 6. As the 1-1, a fastball at the knees for a strike, and Hughes was not happy with that call.
Johnson does a great job of adding late heat to those fastballs. That's why they sink down at the end.
Yeah, sinkers. As the 1-2, got him on the outside corner, 91-mile-an-hour fastball. And down goes Hughes, the first batter that Johnson faces, and he sends him down looking.
Already, it seems quite apparent Johnson's got great command over his pitches, especially the fastballs and the sliders. He's got a sharp break on that slider as well as the fastball.
And that's going to bring up Kenton Crothers. Takes the first pitch low for a ball. On the day for Crothers, 2 for 4. Strikeout, a double, a run score, and a single, as well as a flyout in his 4 attempts. 8-4 our score here in the top of the 8th as Johnson deals the 1-0. It's popped up foul into the parking lot here at Cal Lutheran. Crothers playing first base in this game. At the top of the order yesterday, went 1 for 4. Today, 2 for 4. So 3 for 6 so far, or 3 for 8, so far in the series. The 1-1, and that's a hefty breaking pitch on the inside part of the plate. Taken for a strike, 1-2 the count. Beautiful pitching here from Kenny Johnson, showing off the heat, and he's going to be an asset for the Oaks. Side steps, Pearson fires the 1-2, and it's a curveball on the outside part of the plate for strike 3. Beautiful
Incredible.
pitching by Kenton Crothers, by
Kenny Johnson.
by Kenny Johnson, getting Kenton Crothers looking. 2 consecutive looking strikeouts for Kenny Johnson, and they're 2 away.
Shortstop, number 30.
Going into a sophomore year, just a freshman, you got to remember that. Just a freshman, just an incredible talent. And Solis, I'm sure, plans to use him.
As the first pitch fired into Shane Hirsch is fouled off for strike number 1. Yeah, great stuff from Johnson on the pitch. A couple fastballs in the low 90s, high 80s, and then a couple curveballs in the mid 70s. Very good job keeping this team off balanced.
That was late heat on those fastballs, really taking these,
It's the 0-1, glides outside, low and away, 1 ball, 1 strike.
taking these batters off guard. Cubs not really sure what to do, whether to look, whether to swing. Regardless, Johnson's got 2 strikeouts already in his first 2 players at bat.
Johnson, Pearson fires the 1-1. 89-mile-an-hour fastball, swung on and missed for strike number 2 to Shane Hirsch. And Johnson may get a perfect inning. 3 strikeouts. Should this 1-2 count hold in his favor? The lefty steps back in, the righty on the mound, and he deals the 1-2. In on the hands, and just very late, Shane Hirsch able to fight it off and live to strike out possibly another day. Count remains at 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Probably the most complete pitcher we've seen so far, potentially in the last 2 days.
As the 1-2 comes in, it's another one in on the hands, and another foul tip off the end of the bat by Shane Hirsch.
Hirsch does a great job of fighting that pitch off, senses that he was jammed after that pitch was inside, but still manages to do a nice job of getting the bat on it.
The Johnson deals 1-2. It's pop up into right center. Running on it are 3 Oaks players, and making the catch is Jason Oliver out of center field for out number 3. 3 come up and 3 come down here for the Oaks. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base, but 2 strikeouts for Kenny Johnson. We're through 7.5. Here from Sparky Anderson Field, the Oaks lead at 8-4. You are watching Oaks Baseball on KDTV.
Brandon Lewis.
The big bat of Brandon Lewis from Pierce College stepping in to lead us off here in the bottom of the 8th. Welcome back, everybody. Oaks up 8-4 as he takes the first pitch for a strike. Miranda back on the pitch for his third inning of work. He's trying to just do some damage control here. 6, 7, 8 hitters do it for the Oaks as the 0-1 is fired in for Miranda, and that one's hit high to right field. Going back on it is Trifoletti, and he'll get it just short of the warning track for out number 1. On the day for Brandon Lewis, he is now 1 for 5 with an RBI double and 2 strikeouts.
Now batting, left fielder number 20.
Lewis has had a
Gonzalez.
efficient, successful day. As you mentioned, double back in the first, but a couple pop-ups and a strikeout.
And it'll bring up Juan Gonzalez, 0 for 4 on the day as he takes the first pitch foul for strike number 1. Into fielder's choice back in the first, flown out a couple of times in the 3rd and the 5th, and struck out in the 6th inning. As the Oaks are looking to wind down this game. Bottom of the 8th, they're up by 4. Miranda appears and fires the 0-1. That one runs in on the hands of Gonzalez for ball number 1. One's across the board now. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 away. 8 runs, 11 hits, 3 errors for the Oaks as the 1-1 fired in by Miranda is cut on and missed. That one showed up as 127 miles an hour on the scoreboard. I'm 100% sure that that's wrong.
They might have boosted that just a tad.
Yeah, I mean, Miranda went from 65 to 127 as the 1-2 is a curveball in there. That one shows 114 miles an hour. So he's pitching straight fire. 2-2 now. Waiting for it is Gonzalez, and he pulls this one into left field. That one's going to drop and roll all the way to the wall. Rounding first and going to second is Gonzalez. Alex Smith out there on left is going to throw it in. And that'll be a stand-up double for the Oklahoma Baptist product. 1 away, 1 on now. And that's going to bring up Will Picketts. On the day for Mr. Picketts. 2 for 2. With a walk, a hit by a pitch, 2 stolen bases, 2 runs scored, and an RBI.
Baseman number 3.
I think he gives Cody Santana a run for his money for player of the game thus far, Jonah.
I'll tell you what, certainly a tight race. The two of them have both had phenomenal days. Santana 3 for 4. Pickett's 2 for 2 along with a walk.
And more opportunities here as the first pitch to Pickett is fired in for a strike. 80 miles an hour on the gun.
Pickett's a nice surprise, as we talked about from yesterday. Just 0 for 3 on the day yesterday. Has rebounded extremely well here this afternoon.
Checking the runner at second. The 0-1 is fired into the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike now. And that's actually Travis Hawkins, on the mound. Miranda came out. Hawkins now eliminates the designated hitter position because he was playing in this game at third base. So there's a change at third base. We'll let you know who that is in just 1 second. The 1-1 to Pickett's is low in the dirt for a ball. Running in on it is Gonzalez. And good heads-up play there by him, and he's going to be safe. And that should be a stolen base for Juan Gonzalez.
Heads-up play by Gonzalez recognizes that Reyes didn't have full control over the ball on the ground.
And the count is 2-2 now to Will Pickett's. Hawkins taking a deep breath, toes the rubber, kicks and fires the 2-2. Swung and missed. And I guess that it was 2-1. It showed 2-2 on the scoreboard. So now the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now admit that I was wrong, Jonah. I know that you're waiting for that.
I never want you to admit that you're wrong.
Otherwise, I'd just be lying. The 2-2 runs in on the shoulder of Pickett's. He turns away at the last moment, veering away from that one, avoiding the hit. And that'll bring count full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Runner on third, 1 away for the number 8 hitter in the lineup, Will Pickett's, out of Pierce College. Shoulders the bat. The 3-2 is low and away, and he'll be walked. Runners at the corners now. By the way, for Miranda, who went 2 1/3 innings, gave up a hit, a run, walked 4, and struck out 2. Rough day for him on the pitch as Sam Shaken will step in. Another guy who's had a rough day, 0 for 3 with a walk. Strikeout and 2 groundouts to third. Looking to turn it around here. Productive player from Valparaiso in Indiana. The first pitch to him is low and away at 81 miles an hour for a ball.
Elected to the Horizon League all-freshman team last year for Valparaiso.
Valpo, one of the most underrated athletic schools in D1. FCS football team is very good. Their basketball team is very good. Their baseball team is very good. The 1-0, the runner is going. That was a strike at the knees, and there'll be no throw. So you could call it what you want. It could be a catcher's indecision, but we're going to chalk it up as a stolen base right now for Will Pickett's.
You could say it's a catcher's heads-up play. Recognizes the throw was definitely going to come in late. Didn't want to take a chance at an error.
Third stolen base on the day for Pickett's as the 1-1 comes in. On the knees and on the inside part of the plate for a strike to Sam Shaken. Shaken yesterday for the Oaks. Played 2 innings, or had 2 at-bats, I should say, 0 for 0. I'll get back to that in a second as he grounds the 1-2 pitch foul. He went 0 for 0 because he walked in the third and then had a sacrifice RBI in the fourth. So he did not record an at-bat, but he got an RBI and a walk in both of those at-bats. Very interesting stat. Looking to get his first hit of the young season as the 1-2 comes in. A curveball at the head of Shaken as he turns away from it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And that pitch, he's happy that it curved because if it didn't curve as much as Hawkins wanted, but it curved enough that it didn't drill Shaken in the left temple.
As much as he wanted, I don't think that curved much at all. Really close to his head on that one.
Hawkins comes set and fires the 2-2. Shaken gets under, and it's popped up in the shallow right center field, coming on his Trifoletti, and he'll make the catch for out number 2. Thinking about tagging from third was Gonzalez, but he decided that he was going to hold up instead. 2 outs, 2 on. And we'll go to the top of the order for Jason Oliver. 8 for our score. 8 runs, 12 hits, 3 errors for the home Oaks. 4-6-2 for the visiting Cubs as Oliver steps in. Got to watch his teammate from Lancaster, Kenny Johnson, pitch in the last inning. A phenomenal inning. 3 up, 3 down with 2 strikeouts. As the first pitch to Oliver is popped way up. Back to the mound. Calling for it is Hawkins, and he'll make the catch for out number 3. So after the Oaks get a couple on, they go down in short order. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 2 left on base. We are through 8 full innings here, and one more opportunity for the Cubs to make up this deficit. The Oaks are up 8-4. You are watching Oaks Baseball on KDTV. Back here in the top of the ninth, Jonah Malkin, Jonathan Rifkin with you for the possible final inning as Connor O'Connor steps in and takes the first pitch. He sees high into center field. Under it is Jason Oliver, though, for a quick out number one. And that should be actually Nick Trifoletti, if I'm not mistaken. It was announced as Connor O'Connor. Oh, the lineup got shaken up a little bit as there were a couple of switches.
Number 30, Alex Smith.
But that was Trifoletti, actually, as he pops out to center. The first pitch now to Alec Smith on the outside part of the plate for a strike at 87 miles an hour. Kenny Johnson still on the pitch. 8-4 our score in the top of the ninth as Johnson deals, though, 0-1, and it is in the dirt, but swung on for a strike. No balls and 2 strikes now to Alex Smith. On the day for him, he's 0-2 with a sacrifice RBI as the 0-2 is dealt up and away for a ball, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Stick around for post-game, folks. We're going to switch it over to Twitter, where Jonah will have an interview with our player of the game. We'll pick it as the 1-2 is a curveball outside of the zone, 2 balls and 2 strikes. That'll be on Periscope and also on Twitter. So Oaks post-game, we'll get a quick wrap-up here, about 30 seconds to a minute, and then we're going to run down to the field and switch you over to Twitter. The 2-2 on the outside corner is called strike 3. 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Caught him looking.
Just seems like each one of those fastballs are getting faster and faster with more heat as the game goes on. Multiple 90-mile-an-hour pitches for Johnson.
And that'll bring up Jake Schmeling, a pinch hitter coming in for Daniel McKinney. McKinney ends his day 0-4. Reached on an error, though, and ended up scoring. Schmeling steps in. The righty takes a first pitch, just a little bit low for a ball. Oaks have retired 7 straight now and are looking to make an 8th straight to end this game. The 1-0 fired in from Johnson, low and away for a ball. 2 balls, no strikes. Next Oaks game will be on Tuesday here at 4:30 as the 2-0 is tipped off the end of the bat for a strike, 2-1. Pre-game for that will be right here on YouTube and KDTV at 4:15 with Jonah and myself. The Oaks taking on the Slow Blues in a 3-game series, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, before bringing it home once again on Friday against the Northridge Bulls. All schedules and updates on the Oaks website. Also, follow Oaks on Twitter at Kanewa_Oaks for all your updates and broadcasting links, as well as the Oaks website. Johnson peers and fires the 2-1. That one's just a little bit low. Once again, 3 balls and 1 strike. So just a quick reminder, post-game, we'll have a quick wrap-up here. We're going to shut off our YouTube stream, head over to Twitter, and you can watch our post-game interview as the 3-1 at the belt and over the heart of the plate for a strike. 3 balls and 2 strikes now. And Johnson is 1 strike away from putting this game away. Peers and fires the 3-2 and tipped off the end of the bat by Schmeling, and he'll stay alive. Count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Schmeling, another one of those Midwestern natives. We had a chance to speak with him yesterday.
As he pops up the full count pitch into shallow center field, running it onto 3 Oaks players, and eventually making the catch is Grant Mayu, and that's going to do it. No runs, no hits, no errors, and the Oaks get the win. The winning pitcher, of course, is Jacob Flores. Losing pitcher goes to Cody Kurz. The Oaks extend their streak, 2-0 on the season. The Cubs drop 0-2. Jonah, what are your final thoughts on this game?
Well, just an impressive showing. I think both on both sides. You look at from the Cubs' perspective, they struggled mightily yesterday, just scoring 2 runs, really in a game that was long over. But today they were able to be more aggressive, get more at bats, and play more freely, more confidently. Meanwhile, on the flip side, for the Oaks, I really got to see some incredible pitching. You talk about Kenny Johnson. I think that might have just stolen the show by the end of that with his 90-plus mile-an-hour fastballs. Just an all-around great performance. The Oaks, they did make a couple errors, more errors than I expected today, but nonetheless, a nice way to close out this day on a beautiful Saturday afternoon.
I agree. Final line for you. The Cubs lose it. They get 4 runs on 6 hits, 2 errors, and 10 left on base. The Oaks, with the win and the series sweep, 8 runs on 12 hits, 3 errors, and 14 left on base. That's going to do it for us above the broadcasting booth. Head over to Twitter where Will Pickett will be interviewed for our post-game show with Jonah. Once again, thank you so much for joining us on YouTube. Thanks to Bob Allen, our station manager at KDTV, and all of you viewers. Like I said, head over to Twitter. In just about 3 minutes, we'll have Will Pickett on the field. If not, we'll see you on Tuesday at 4:15 for Oaks pregame. Oaks and the Slow Blues at 4:30 right here at Sparky Anderson Field. We'll either see you on Twitter or we'll see you on Tuesday. And have a wonderful, wonderful